What are the two biggest emotional drivers that cause a human being to want to change? If you've heard me in other trainings, you know it's pain of their current situation and maybe even their past history, and then getting them to feel pain, like future pain. Like future pain could happen, or if you already have the pain now, this continuous pain can happen and it could even get worse in the future, or you might not have any pain now. However, let's say if I'm selling cybersecurity to Bank of America, there could be a lot of future pain. You're just not seeing it yet. But I'm going to get them to feel that future pain. Okay, those are the two biggest emotional drivers. Pleasure is a distant third, I can assure you. Okay, because anytime you're looking for pleasure, it's because you're moving away from pain. Or let's say if I'm selling a $600,000 Lamborghini, I am moving away from an emotional need, like some type of pain, some type of an emotional need that I have that causes me to want to buy a $600,000 car. It's not like a $600,000 car solves a problem, right? If I want to go from point A to point B, I can drive a 2004 used Honda, right? But unless I'm a race car driver, okay, in Formula One, a $600,000 car is typically solving an emotional need. I want higher status. I want people to see that I've arrived. Maybe I've done well. Maybe if I was bullied as a kid and I want to show my classmates I'm successful now. Maybe your dad told you wouldn't amount to anything. You want to show them that you're wrong. There's a lot of things. Maybe you come from a $1 billion family net worth, and maybe some emotional needs you have is that people in school said that you were given everything. And now you want to show them that you've made your own money, right? That's an emotional need you're solving, okay? So it all comes down to solving a problem and or an emotional need, okay? Now, with that being said, if I cannot help the prospect relive their pain and have a fear of future pain, then they feel no need to what? Change. And when they feel no need to change, that's why you get a lot of objections, and that's why they didn't ultimately buy from you, because they don't feel the need to change. So if you can't help them feel that pain, they don't feel they need to change, and you are hurting them. Remember, selling something you do to people or selling something you do for people, it's for people. So if I can't help them relive the pain, they will never feel any need to change. That means they will not buy, and you're offering them no value because their problems stay the same and nothing ever changes for them. They don't get what they want because of you. Now, I know that's not you. I know you're committed to mastery, right? You're not a winger. You're not a dabbler. You're not a know-it-aller. You're committed to mastery. That's why you're in the training, and that's why you're going through, I'm assuming, eventually all of our training programs, because you are committed to mastery, right? You're different than all the salespeople out there that say they want to get better, they want to improve, but they never do what? They never do anything about it. They never have the plan. They never put funding into it to actually do it. You're different, okay? All right, so remember, okay, why do we want to use probing questions? We want to help them relive their pain, okay? We want them to tell themselves why they want to change, okay? Now they're persuading themselves. And is that more persuasive than you telling them they should do it? If you get them to tell themselves they should do it, probably way more persuasive. It is, scientifically, and causes them to go below the surface and emotionally open up to you, okay? So if you don't learn how to clarify and probe off their answers, and it has to be strategic, like if somebody says, what time is it? And you ask them, like, why is knowing the time so important to you now? That doesn't make any sense. They're gonna be like, that person's a weirdo, right? It doesn't make any sense. So it has to be based on the context of what you're asking, okay? Now, when do we use precision probing questions? Primarily in the problem awareness stage of n.e.p.q and solution awareness, and I can even use them in consequence questions, okay? I could even use them in my presentation, okay? I could even use them when I'm overcoming an objection to find out what the real objection is. Sometimes I can use them in situation questions. However, if you try to probe to open up them emotionally too early in the conversation, like especially in the connection stage, even if they open up to you, they're not going to open up to you that much. Because why? Because there's not much trust yet. There's not any gap you've really built. They don't even really recognize they have many problems yet that early. So if you try to probe too early, you're going to notice that even if they do open up a little bit, it's not going to be much, okay? There are certain situations in situation questions where I can probe, but that's based off me reading their tonality. listening to what they mean, not just what they say, and if I can see them reading their body language. We'll get into that more in depth in future trainings, okay?